All right, so a couple small updates today. Got my webcams here. I actually pushed the bearing and sprockets on, so I have, oh gosh, let's see, SPE Performance. I ended up buying his, SAE Outlaw Performance, there we go. I bought his cam sprockets, but had to get them pressed on. Well, I was going to go to the Napa store, have them do them, but luckily at work we had a press, so I ended up doing it myself. Actually came out pretty good. One thing to remember is when you're putting on the bearings, make sure this ring is further away from the sprocket. And instructions were pretty clear. Exhaust or intake, you got to line it up with either that single dash it's matched up with, or this one's lined up with the two lines. The one thing I had a little trouble, but thanks to Google was able to help me, was changing out that pin right there. So it had to be pulled out of the old camshaft. And oh great, yeah, I guess I forgot to turn on my lights. Hold on a second. Sheesh. There we go. Okay, sorry about that. So what everybody says is take a vise with steel jaws, and I'll kind of pull this out just for effect here. What I ended up doing is I took it, I clamped this in the vise, and then while it was in there, I took my rubber mallet and just kind of tapped on or hammered the old camshaft until it finally came out. One thing, once you're putting it back in the new cams, I ended up, laying a rag on one side and setting it in there and using the vise just to push it in. Add a pair of calipers, that way you can measure how far it is, because Hayabusa versus other ones, they want a certain distance for it to stick out of the camshaft. All in all, pretty easy. What do I have else? Oh yeah, I took this off the other day and noticed that my chain's been rubbing. The only thing I can think of, and the other thing is, it's hard to see, but there is a crack that runs along that bolt line. Apparently a 20-tooth sprocket is too big to run on a Hayabusa. They do make them, but apparently it does not fit in the stock cover. So again, from SAE Outlaw, I got his nice billet one. Now I ended up sandblasting it, that way I could paint it, just want it black rather than billet. I ended up going with a heavy-duty transmission shaft. So they custom make their own sprockets because it is a larger outside diameter of teeth on this thing. So I ended up going with a 19. I don't think it'll be that big of a difference. I ended up also switching the rear sprocket to go down just to make up for the extra power and loss of the one tooth on the front sprocket. Transmission wise, I just got the transmission back from a guy in Florida who undercut it both up and down. Reasonably priced. He charged $450 including shipping. Can't say whether or not it's good or bad, but he was definitely fast, and he suggested several things that I'm kind of glad he did. One of them is I have new seals coming in for both ends of this guy, and he ended up telling me he wants to replace this bearing. It was feeling a little bit notchy or worn, so it cost me a little bit more, $100 for that bearing, but he was diligent on the time he did and making sure everything was there. Let me see if I can. Sorry, I got a stack of stickers here. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, I know I got his card. Where in the heck did I put this thing? Well, it's JT Performance Transmissions or fixmygearsnow.com. He also has a Facebook. That's how I ended up meeting him on the Hayabusa forums. But yeah, looking forward to that guy. What else? What else? Oh, here we go. So I'm still working on this part. But I did get my Rcc Fuel Line at least mounted. It was okay, not super tricky, but the injectors were a little bit of pain. If you can see this black plastic piece here, I had to pull out of the original fuel rail, which holds the primary injectors. It took a little bit of tricks and getting it to hold. My one problem with this kit is you spend $600 and some on the damn thing, and they don't even include 75 cents worth of bolts. It says it bolts up to the original and whatever, but they don't include the stupid bolts. So anyway, had to find, it's an M8 by about 1 inch long, 4 bolts. Just use the socket head caps to fasten it. Next we'll be working on these AN lines that I have here to create the fuel line. So I'm going to tee these together somehow, and then it will come out and connect to the gas tank. So stay tuned for that one.